Listen. Listen.
Metal funnies make it James, metal funnies make it better.
All right, let's get this show on the road.
Worst TV show.
The new norm.
Out of all your YTP streams, which is your favorite?
Just recently, at the time of recording this, I had a return stream on January 12th, which was absolutely fabulous. It was the most amount of activity I had ever gotten on a stream from start to finish pretty much. And there were so many requests that I couldn't even get through them all, which, man, it's just really awesome to see a really fun and engaging stream with so many people stopping by.
Do you play Gmod?
I did at one point, but I don't currently.
Do you love Toyota Yaris?
Hells yeah, mans!
Are there any video games you love and think more people should try out? If you do, what might they be?
I think people should try out the Trackmania games. They're very fun arcades, but also very competitive if you want to get into speed running and stuff like that. Tropics 2 is actually really fun and engaging. It was from 2008. Classic old game that you just download from some old website. Lastly, the Gran Turismo series. They are such awesome games, especially if you're a racehead.
Do you ever plan on incorporating the effect-intensive abstract editing you did for your YTPs into any of your newer projects, if you haven't already?
I released a new video at the time of recording this called I Love the Rain. It has a ton of those visual aesthetics that a lot of you guys will know me for at this point. It was really fun to do. A lot of the stuff in my brain that came up when I was brainstorming ideas for this called for those kinds of visuals. And who knows if I'll be doing more stuff like that. I hope so, because it was really fun to mesh together both the animation stuff that I've been doing with the classic YTP effects editing that I've been doing for years at this point.
What are your goals for 2025?
That's a good question. I think continue what I've been doing now, but do it even better, which I'd say be more confident, see more people, meet more people, make more art, make more cool animations, be in a position with how my life's gonna change where I can still do this and still have fun doing this. As long as making videos is something that I can still do, I think the sky's the limit for me.
What is your favorite effect?
I'd say S-Pseudo Color or any of the warp effects from Sapphire.
How many YTPs have you seen?
Probably dozens at this point. I started watching YTPs when I was just a little kid, and ever since my time in YTP, as well as the stuff on stream, I know you said you don't count it, but I've probably reacted to dozens at this point, so I really can't answer that for you, man.
I was aware of these bands and their biggest hits beforehand, but I only got into deep diving and listening to the Monkees and especially the Beach Boys through your use of them in your YTPs. How did you discover those bands?
As a kid, I knew about songs from both bands. For example, Beach Boys' I Get Around appearing in Regular Show and the Monkees' Daydream Believer appearing in SpongeBob SquarePants. But what really got me digging into their discographies was with the Beach Boys, for instance. I saw a YTP from Awful Fawful that used the song Look, Song for Children in it. And I realized that that was a part of a thing called the Smile Sessions. And I learned all about the Smile Sessions and how they collapsed and Brian Wilson's mental health and how all the Beach Boys moved on in their dynamics and all that kind of stuff, which got me really digging into the music that they did after that stuff. And when it came to the Monkees, I was bored one day and I decided that I wanted to listen to the Birds, the Bees and the Monkees, the same album that Daydream Believer is from. And afterwards, I found out about the movie Head. And once I found out about that movie, I loved it so much that I just pretty much just kept digging into their discography and their series, which is really good.
What is your favorite color?
My favorite color is blue.
How did you decide that you wanted to get into animating?
I always had it as an interest in the back of my mind. I really wanted to start kicking around with Adobe Animate when I saw Aim Kid for the first time. Her video of Stupid Horse, the fan-made video, was just so mind-blowing to me, especially considering that that's just one person. And it really gave me like a showcase into what you can do, especially by yourself, just making animations on the internet. And over the course of time getting into animation communities, especially stuff like Land of Spikes and being in the Bentel Experimental Animation Festivals, I realized that this is really where I wanted to go. And there was a lot of cool ideas and concepts that I've been developing in drawing that I just really wanted to see be created in my own personal animated films and stuff. Not to mention that I really love the idea of making fan-made music videos, and it's so fun just putting the visuals to music. Honestly, doing animations to me is such a rewarding process, despite the fact that it can be tedious at times.
What music genre do you like?
I like a lot of different genres, but Spotify Wrapped last year said that my #1 genre was rock, so I guess it's rock.
How did you come up with your username?
Many years ago when I started this YouTube channel, actually even before that, I was in a ROBLOX wrestling group and my wrestling name was Phoenix the Oracle James. When I started this channel, I was still dedicating videos to that federation, but when I was done with that and didn't want to make stuff for it anymore, pretty much I just kept the username. It stuck and it's stuck ever since. My cat stopped by to see me answer some questions. Here he is. He's going to be here for the next few.
If you were to give an estimate, what would be the amount of hours you've spent on your biggest project so far?
A lot of projects I move in and out of, but I would say the one that took the longest amount of time was my YTP Panties and Caviar. Starting in May 2021 and finishing it in May of 2023, it took 2 years, nearly 2 years to make, and went through all different kinds of versions and hybrids. There were so many different titles. It was originally going to be called Penny and Stocking Go Underground, and then later the Sea Shanties of Lithuania. There was just many different iterations and it almost didn't get finished, but I'm very glad that I stuck that idea out. Ended up hosting a full-on collab out of it, as well as a nice, solid, long YTP. It's my second longest YTP ever.
Do you have a process and or specific mindset for creating such elaborate visual trips, or would you say that it'd mainly lie from your personality?
In my mind, it likes to go off of references of things that I have seen before, but usually when it comes down to making trips, the very first or second visual idea I have in my head that calls to make a trip, I just make it. And it doesn't even have to be a trip. It could just be any kind of visual effect that I find cool or fits a certain type of scene. Just anything that comes in my head, I just do my best to put it out on video. Gonna listen to some Dami Mommy ASMR. Hey man, I ain't judging at all.
Do you play Roblox?
Yes, I do. In fact, in the Q&A announcement video, I was playing Roblox Randomizer.
Who got you into making YTPs?
I answered this one in the first Q&A I did, so I'm gonna let 2022 Phoenix answer that one for you. What really got me into making YTPs was watching this dude called Abraham Folks, who would react to stuff like Emp Lemon, Awful Fawful, Cartoon Lover. I really liked his content. His reactions were some of my favorite YTP reactions. Oh, he's leaving. Why are you leaving? Oh, I guess he's finished.
Have you ever tried animating in an anime art style?
No, I don't think that my art style has really reached that level yet, but it would be fun to try out for something at some kind of point.
Nintendo or Sega consoles?
Neither.
What happened to your music playlist that you had for your YTPs?
In all honesty, I just got bored of updating it. I could not be bothered. And it kind of felt redundant anyway, because when it comes to my YTPs, in the description, I always leave timestamps and names and artists' titles and all that for all of the music that I use.
Will you ever cast voice actors beside you in your animated short films?
I already have. In my animation The Edge, I got Raya JPEG Crust to voice the character Wacko. Me personally, I love doing voice acting, and when it comes to voice acting a bunch of different characters, I'm all for it personally, to do it myself.
What inspired you to react to YTP on lives?
The very first time I ever really wanted to get into making YTPs was from watching a reactor called Abraham Folks and seeing how many YTP reactors have been out there and have recorded their own reactions to YTPs without necessarily really knowing what the original creator was going for, and therein the creator getting upset at a reaction that they might have. I thought it would be interesting for me to give back to the community in a way where a YTPer reacts to YTPs and gives people a platform, whether it be old YTPs from years ago or new YTPs just starting out, a platform and a place to just share their stuff and share other YTPs from peers that they found really interesting and fun. And honestly, it's just a blast. I love doing them every Sunday. It's just fabulous seeing everybody come together and share some really amazingly edited videos that make me laugh a lot.
What software do you use for editing?
Since 2020, I have used Vegas Pro.
What is your favorite game?
My favorite game is anything from the Gran Turismo franchise. Last I remembered, I had a lot of fun playing Gran Turismo 5.
What is your approach to combining 2D and 3D elements?
Interesting question, because I don't really use 3D elements a lot because it can be difficult to mix them in, especially in Vegas Pro, as well as given the fact that I don't really know Blender yet. But again, if it's in my head, if there's an idea to use a 3D type of scene, I'm taking that out of my head and putting it on video. So really, that's just my approach, getting as close to the visual idea as possible.
Who and what has influenced your art style the most?
I'd say it really started off with AimKid, but I've seen so many different artists over the course of my time, especially in art communities such as Land of Spikes, that I'm really just influenced by any kind of artist that I find interesting. Artists that I can think of off the top of my head that have really inspired me recently or have in the past are Emily Zulo, B Jump Up, Beatrice Megan Blood Cook, Dee Dee Bentel, Raya JP Crust, and there's probably a lot more that are not coming to the top of my head right now. Watman 13 was also a big one as well.
What's your favorite part of the animation process?
My favorite part is doing the sketching because I can sketch fun, crazy, and kooky ideas without having to worry about polishing it all and just mixing it all together, worrying about coloring and composition.
Least favorite song?
I've heard a lot about songs in my time, but the one coming to the top of my head right now is It's Everyday Bro.
Why are you retiring from YTP after TOH4?
I chose to stop making YTPs at the time of making stuff for TOH4 because I realized that I didn't really want to be doing YTPs at the time because my heart was in animation more, and I realized if I kept making YTPs, not that I'm opposed to making more YTPs again, but if I kept doing them, I wouldn't have any time to really be focusing on animation and doing all that, which is what I'm just passionate about that more. So again, while I'm not opposed to making YTPs again, I stopped doing them simply because I wouldn't have had the time to put all of the time and the effort and motivation and inspiration into something that I was enjoying and still enjoy a lot more than YTP currently.
How did you join YouTube?
I joined it when I finally got permission to at 13 years old.
Since your full-time YTPing career is over, what do you think is the greatest YTP you made?
I like to think it was the one that I went out on before I went into my hiatus, and that was The Eternal Horrors of Homer J. Stupid. Not only did it cap off a 4-year story that started with the Double Homer Cult Catastrophe, which is my most popular YTP to date, but it encompassed a bunch of different jokes and ideas that I really love doing, and that's visual gags and humor. I didn't have to worry about making things fast-paced or segueing one thing into the other. I just focused on doing visual ideas and jokes completely based off the source, which I had so much fun doing, and they're jokes that I just really love the most.
If you had to pick one band to do one of your animated music videos for, which would it be and why?
I'd say the Smith Street Band, because they're here in Australia, born and raised in Melbourne, and I'm here from Australia, so it would make nothing but total sense to do an awesome kind of Aussie team-up collaboration like that. But a boy can only dream.
What kind of music do you like to listen to?
If a song sounds good, no matter what genre it's from, no matter who made it or what made it, I listen to it.
What, if any, is your favorite band or artist?
They Might Be Giants. As you can see, I'm wearing the shirt right here. I've been a fan of the band since I was just a little tot. Little tot. That's goofy as hell.
What is your favorite YouTuber who is not a YTPer?
Silly Super Pop.
Favorite hobby?
I love drawing a lot. I can take any ideas that I have in my spare time and just make them into cool visual ideas via Clip Studio. It's also really good therapy. Peter Griffin falls down the stairs. Ow! Damn it, son of a bitch. Anyway guys, thank you so much for sending me all of your questions. I absolutely loved hearing what you guys had to say, and I hope I answered what I could sufficiently and sufficely, if that's even a word. Will we do this again? Who knows? Time can only tell. Stranger things have happened. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you all for the next video. PhoenixJames signing off.
Listen. Listen.
The last thing you want in your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus